So the Switch 2 pre-order date is finally set. And luckily, despite the, concerns that we've had, the price will not be going up. The base cost is going to be $450, and if you get the bundle, it will be $500. Those have stayed the same. Likewise, the game prices have stayed the same, with Donkey Kong launching at $70 and Mario Kart launching at $80. If you wish to save on the bundle and you don't mind having Mario Kart digital, you can get the bundle. So that makes Mario Kart $50, and that's not bad. That's really not bad. The semi-bad news, the closest thing we have to real bad news, is that it seems that the accessories are going to be a little bit more pricey. The accessory prices are going up. Some of them are only going up about $1. Other ones are going up to $10, I believe was the highest that I saw. It kind of varies. Most of the Switch 2 accessories are produced in China. So with the current tariff on China, all of the products that are made there are obviously going up, which sadly means that the Switch 2 Pro controller, as well as any spare Joy-Cons, are going to be a bit more pricey. That said, I'm here to tell you that all is not lost. The Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Switch 1 controllers and Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons won't be able to be plugged into the Switch 2. You will still have to keep your Switch 1 to charge them. However, they will work as controllers on the Switch 2. I don't believe they'll have wake-up function, but that's not the end of the world. Like, you can get around that. And why is that good news, you might be asking? Well, because right now is a really good time to get your hands on mostly what I've seen, Pro controllers. Switch 1 Pro controllers are going for very decent prices on the internet. I've already talked before about the one that I scored for about a little under $30. Well, I recently scored another one. I've already put a new skin from Extreme Rate on it to make it look like an NES controller. This one was $18. I won this on eBay for $18. And there's been loads more. There are quite a few that are going from anywhere from $15 to about $30, which is significantly less than the $60 or $70 that you'd get them new. Now, generally speaking, there was a bit of an issue on the internet for a little while with people selling bootleg controllers, and that is still a thing to an extent. So what I would say was, if you're on eBay and you're looking at controllers, don't pick one that has a stock image. Pick one that has a picture of the controller. Make sure that whoever the seller is, they seem reputable, Don't pick one that has very recently joined eBay and has nothing else for sale. Like, that's sketchy in my opinion, especially if they have like more than one. If they have a stock image and there's multiple, you can buy multiple controllers, that something ain't right. But for the most part, a lot of people are selling off a lot of Switch 1 accessories as the 2 is coming out soon. So because these accessories are still usable on the Switch 2, I see no reason to not take advantage of these prices. I, for the most part, have plenty of third-party controllers, but a lot of them are starting to crap out. I've had this controller since the beginning of when I first got my Switch, and sure enough, some of the buttons are not working like they used to. It's having connectivity problems. It's really time for this one to go. Sadly, the same about my, compared to the other one, relatively new GameCube style controller. These were both cheap dropship controllers. I didn't really expect them to last super long. I just needed a controller. Honestly, the nostalgia is what got me on this one. But one of the buttons is completely stuck. There's nothing I can do to unstick it. There's not anything sticky in it. It's just kind of broken. I will not be tossing this one. It is, close enough to an actual GameCube controller that I'm going to hang this one up on my wall somewhere, somehow, eventually. I just really like the GameCube controller design. I see no reason to just toss this one. So because I had some controllers go out, I decided it was time to start looking at the market and see what I can find. And yeah, even beyond eBay, if you go to Amazon, I found quite a few of the used Power A controllers, just the wireless ones made by Power A for $20 or less. My sister-in-law isn't a huge fan of controllers that rumble really hard. A lot of third-party controllers that have rumble pretty heavily. So one of these Power A controllers, them being a third party that's actually licensed by Nintendo and not having rumble, not bad, especially for $20. Like, that's excellent deal. With how expensive the Switch 2 is looking, I think deals like this are really important. Something that you can get that will be usable on this system that you can find for a decent price. That's good. That's how you can justify purchases. At least that's how I do it. The NSO controllers will also be backwards compatible. So if you have the NES, the SNES, the Nintendo 64, all of those will work on the Switch 2. Again, they just won't have like a wake-up function. Also, obviously the NES controllers, you'll have to keep a Switch 1 to charge them because they have rail chargers. There is a rumor that the NES controllers are getting remade for the Switch 2 so that you can charge them via USB-C. That's smart. I'm not surprised. That's probably something we should have had the option in the first place. Now, with the new GameCube controller coming, and with, I'm not the only one who is hit by nostalgia when they look at old controllers. So while I'm talking about controller options, I really want to bring up Retro Fighter. Retro Fighters is a website that makes controllers. These controllers are all based off of classic systems, but the controllers have had like an update to be more along the lines of a modern Pro controller. So for example, they have the Brawler 64. This one has the button layout of the N64, but with the shape and, feel of a modern controller. Also, it's a little cheaper than the NSO one. The NSO one is finally like in stock regularly from what I've seen. So, I mean, if you want a one-to-one, then that's obviously your choice. But if you are looking to save a little bit of money, but still have that button layout for when you're playing an N64 game, then this is a really good option. And they do the same thing for the GameCube. They do the same thing for a bunch of controllers. The Xbox, PlayStation, they've got a Dreamcast one. All of them are usable on the Switch, and this is a company that is good. When you hook one of these into your Switch, like specifically the Brawler 64, it registers it as an N64 NSO controller. So these should presumably work on the Switch 2 as well. And there's a few of them that are very decent prices. There's one made specifically for Smash Bros. That has a button for your Super Smash. I think that feels a little cheaty in my mind, but you know what? Some people like the convenience. This video isn't sponsored. I just very recently checked out their website and kind of fell in love. This is a really cool site. I'd been meaning to get back into some of the N64 games on the NSO, but the layout with an N64 controller is so massively different than modern Pro controllers that it really does become a little hard. Like, I find myself accidentally setting off items in Zelda, and it's annoying. It's not necessary. Like, you can make do without one of these, but it doesn't hurt. The same thing happens to me when I play Sunshine on the 3D All-Stars game. My brain is so hardwired to the GameCube controller with that game specifically that I really do find myself just messing up with a modern controller quite often. But hey, you know what? I'm happy that we finally have a pre-order date. I'm happy that the price isn't changing on anything. I am a little bummed because I really want to get my hand on a Switch 2 Pro controller. The Switch 1 Pro controller very quickly became just my favorite controller. This is one of my all-time favorite controllers. I love the design. I love where everything's placed on it. It's a really nice controller. I'm not the first to mention that the D-pad could be a little bit better, but like, honestly, even with that, it's so nice and it's very comfortable. I'm gonna look and see if I can get at least one more decently priced Switch 1 controller, just because I really like de-skinning them, putting on these new extreme rate skins. I don't know what it is, something about replacing the parts and putting on these and having them be a little bit more personalized is just really fun for me. But okay, yeah, that's it for this one. More stuff coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. What was your favorite controller of all time? What's your favorite setup? Scott, I know you like a mouse and keyboard, but like controller-wise, did you like the Dreamcast? I've always been partial to the GameCube, and I'm very, very partial to the Switch Pro controller. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. I've been Dogface. Be kind to each other.